Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to the year was 1989. What happened in 1989? This is way before my time. So this is for all my 80 babies out there. So for all the crack babies out there, the test tube babies, all y'all out there. How y'all doing in life? Y'all doing good? How you 40s feel? The knees hurt? The back hurt? I know it do. But anyway, I'm an asshole. You fucking asshole. Why would you bring that up? I'm just saying, bro. Hey, man. Don't get mad at me, man. Shit. I'm going to be there one day. But right now, I'm going to make fun of you for it.
If we go to prison for the rest of our life, whoop-de-doo.
But anyways, though, without further ado, man, let's get right into this. This is 1989. So it's all my 80 babies out there. This is just before the 90 babies came into effect. You know what I'm saying? So before the 90s babies, there was the 80s babies, and this was y'all last year. What happened in 1989? Let's see what happened. I think 89 was kind of a lit year. I think from like a music perspective, I think 89 was kind of lit. But I don't know anything else about it besides the music. I don't know nothing else about 1998. Well, sports, I know sports and music. Movies, television, I don't know anything else. Only thing I think that came on TV of significance in 1989 was Family Matters. That was it. But anyways, though, without further ado, let's get right into it. Stop wasting time. Let's go. Let the 80s babies have their moment, man.
He got his underwear out, his shorts, and he slammed the ball. And you just have to love the theatrics of his game. You know, Michael Jordan's the same way. You ever seen Michael Jordan play? Yeah. Ladies love Michael Jordan because he got that tongue hanging out, right? Yeah. Women love it. They don't even know about the game. Just like, Michael Jordan? Because he plays like that, right? You don't even want to check him because Michael's like, you know, you're thinking, hey, man, don't lick me. You don't want to get too close to him, you know? But he does that. He does that flamboyant stuff in midair. And don't leave out Larry Bird, because white people get mad at me. I don't want to leave out Larry Bird. Yes, see? Larry Bird, he's been hurt this season, but see, black people mad at Larry because we think, you know, hey, y'all got all the jobs. Now don't take basketball. You know? But Larry can play his face off. Larry plays totally different than the brothers, but he gets the same job done, right? Larry comes down court, and, you know, Michael Jordan and they in the air doing this kind of stuff.
1989 was a very interesting year full of some pretty notable pop culture moments that still get referenced today. You just had to be there. Being the last year of what many consider to be the greatest decade to ever exist, 1989 was a really fun year that had such a cool and unique vibe to it, ending the 1980s with a bang and set the tone for what was to come in the 1990s decade. Throughout the year, we witnessed the release of many iconic blockbusters, the emergence of the World Wide Web, popular TV show debuts, the rise of new and exciting musical genres, new technology, major sports moments, a presidential inauguration, and some historical world-changing events, making 1989 a pivotal year for pop culture. I feel like this year is slightly underrated, overlooked, and forgotten when discussing the 80s, as most of the more notable events took place during the first half of the decade. Despite this, 1989 was a pretty fun and exciting year full of some very iconic and memorable pop culture moments that have left a lasting impact on society and generations to come. So I thought it would be fun to take a look back at one of my favorite years from the 20th century and see what life was like during one of the most polarizing and interesting years of the 1980s.
From top to bottom, what a Wednesday! On Growing Pains, a little white line goes awry.
A carrot!
Followed by Head of the Class. And
there's no reason here to be intimidated.
there's no opponent too tough for Coach. Then, Robert Guillaume is a marriage counselor.
Just once, I would like you to come home, walk into the living room naked.
Well, let's hope it's not bridge night.
The Robert Guillaume Show. Growing Pains, Head of the Class, Coach, and the premiere of the Robert Guillaume Show, Wednesday.
Like I mentioned earlier, 1989 seems to be a forgotten year from the decade, as it's often overlooked by many. 1989 in a way felt like its own year in comparison to the rest of the 80s, as the trends, vibe, and overall aesthetic felt so different from the others. I don't know how to properly explain that, because, you know, I wasn't alive this year, but it's just one of those you just had to be there moments. I feel like 1989 through 1991 were the transition years between the two decades, as there was a notable shift in pop culture around this time, and everyone was optimistic yet skeptical of the new decade on the horizon. Being a Gen Xer, witnessing the transition between the 1980s and the 1990s must have really been something for sure. In world news, we witnessed a wide variety of events, including the Exxon Valdez oil spill in Alaska, the Tiananmen Square massacre in Beijing, the Romanian Revolution, which saw the overthrow of dictator Nicolae C, and so many more. Earlier in the year, George H.W. Bush began his term as the 41st president of the United States, having been elected in the 1988 election after serving as vice president under Ronald Reagan. He was inaugurated on January 20th at the age of 64, where he remained in office for one term until January 1993. During his presidency, a key part of his platform was his pledge not to raise taxes, which was a promise later highlighted in his inauguration speech. One major key event that President Bush led was the United States invasion of Panama on December 20th of that year, where US troops were used to overthrow the government of Manuel Noriega. And possibly the biggest news story of the year was the fall of the Berlin Wall on November 9th, which marked the end of the Cold War and the beginning of a new era of European history. This was a big deal at the time, representing...
Oh, was this when the Soviet Union came to a close? This is like the final year of the Soviet Union, I believe.
The beginning of the end of the Soviet Union, as well as many other changes. This year saw the rise of many new technological advancements, as well as some new inventions that had a lasting impact on society.
Game Boy.
English computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web in 1989.
Really?
The internet as we know.
Really? So the internet was invented in 1989? Wow. I thought the internet was invented in like 93, 94, or 95. I thought that's when the internet became a thing. Or maybe it's the World Wide Web. I don't know. I don't remember.
Know it today. Fun fact, but Tim Berners-Lee is actually not amongst the world's richest people because he chose not to patent the World Wide Web, instead making it a free, open standard for everyone's benefit. A true hero. 1989 was also the year where we saw the release of significant hardware like the Intel 486 processor and the first portable digital cameras, amongst many others. In terms of video games, 1989 was a significant year as the Sega Genesis and the OG Nintendo.
The Sega Genesis. Man, get that Game Boy up out here. That shit trash. But that Sega Genesis though, that was my first ever console. Believe it or not, my first ever console was a Sega Genesis. That's the first console I've ever had. And that shit was lit, my boy. That shit was lit. The Sega Genesis, that was a lit ass console. I had only had like the first two Sonic games and Mortal Kombat. That's all I had. But that shit was lit though. I don't care. That shit was lit. What? That's where my Mortal Kombat allegiance started. I haven't really played no other game aside from Mortal Kombat. Like most fighting games, like I play a couple of them every now and again, but I grew up with Mortal Kombat. That was my first video game. I stuck with it ever since. I know a lot of people say Tekken is fire, Street Fighter is fire, or Soul Calibur, Dead or Alive. I understand those games are good, but if it ain't Mortal Kombat, it ain't for me. I'm just saying.
Nintendo Game Boy were both released to great success. Some popular video games that were released this year included Final Flight, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Willow, Blazing Lasers, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, Hard Drive-In, Strider, DuckTales, and Tetris, amongst many others. 1989 was a pretty eventful year for sports with some key moments that still get talked about today. At this year's Super Bowl, the San Francisco 49ers defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 20-16, winning their third Super Bowl, while the Detroit Pistons swept the LA Lakers in the NBA Finals, earning the franchise its first championship. Joe Dumars, Wayne Gretzky, Steffi Graf, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Joe Montana, Jim Abbott, and Sir Nick Faldo were among some of the most popular athletes of the year. On May 7th, Michael Jordan performed a last-minute game-winning jump shot that was later...
I said, what about Mike, though? What about Mike? I thought Mike was popping it. And the way how they talk about Mike, I thought 89 Mike was popping, nigga. He had the shoes. He had everything, bro. I thought Mike was popping in 89, for real?
Called The Shot. This legendary shot by MJ secured his Chicago Bulls victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The shot is considered to be one of his greatest moments, and the game itself is regarded as a classic. Major League Baseball announced that Pete Rosa was under investigation, which led to his ban from the sport from gambling. Also in baseball news, the Loma Prieta earthquake occurred in San Francisco, affecting Games 3 of the World Series. This was a 6.9 magnitude earthquake that was a pretty big deal, as it caused 63 deaths, nearly 3,800 injuries, and significant property damage, including the collapse of a section of the Bay Bridge. Because of this, the World Series was postponed due to the disaster, which had never happened up until
that shit was that shit was dangerous.
Celebrity gossip was widely available in magazines and newspapers, and the tabloids were just becoming a significant source of news at the time. Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold were the subject to tabloid drama, as the two were in a highly publicized affair where they later married the following year. Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose married his longtime girlfriend Erin Everly in a surprise ceremony in Las Vegas in April, only to have their marriage annulled after 9 months. While Kelly Preston and Charlie Sheen got engaged, later to break up after an accidental firearm injury. Naomi Campbell was the first woman of color to appear on the September issue of Vogue. Rob Lowe's sex tape scandal. Andrew Dice Clay getting banned from MTV after some pretty bad jokes at the VMAs.
Rockabye baby on the treetop. Your mother's a whore. I ain't your pop.
Damn.
Oh, that's no. In the sense that, no. You know what I mean?
Ice Cube quitting NWA due to financial reasons. Madonna being Madonna, who we'll talk about later in this video, so stay tuned. This was also the year where Michael Jackson was first called the King of Pop at the Soul Train Heritage Awards.
And in my estimation, the true king of pop, rock, and soul, Mr. Michael Jackson.
In March, the Oscars took place where approximately 42 million viewers tuned in, making it the most watched Oscar night up until that point. This was also the year when the iconic "and the Oscar goes to" phrase trend started, which you would have thought would have been around much longer than that, but I digress. The film Rain Man won the most awards with 4 wins, including Best Directing and Best Picture. Other major winners from the night included Dustin Hoffman, Jodie Foster, Kevin Kline, Gina Davis, and John Lasseter, amongst many others. At this year's Grammys, Billy Crystal returned as the host and saw many artists take home some awards. This was also the first Grammy Award ceremony with a separate rap section, as the genre was really starting to cement its mainstream dominance and global appeal. The big winners of the night were George Michael, who won Album of the Year for his album Faith, and Bobby McFerrin, who won Song of the Year for Don't Worry Be Happy. Other big winners included Tracy Chapman for Best New Artist and Best Female Pop Vocal, Anita Baker for Best Female Vocal Performance, and DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince for Best Rap Performance, as well as many others. Side note, but the
Hey, come on, man. One time for the one time.
duo actually boycotted the Grammys this year, but would go on to win the same night for their hit Parents Just Don't Understand. I'm a little youngin', so someone in the comments who was alive, please educate me on the lore of this, because I just know that they boycotted, but they won a Grammy that night, so pretty interesting. But
so from what my understanding is, apparently it wasn't televised. That was the big issue. They didn't televise the rap section, and because of that, they felt left out. So all the rappers got together and they boycotted the Grammys. Even though Will Smith and them won the Grammy, they didn't care. They felt like hip hop needs to be on the same level with everybody else. It's a popular genre now. It needs to be respected as a popular genre. If they don't want to give it the respect, see, this is back when people used to actually fight for their respect. See, people don't do that no more. People just accept the bullshit and keep it pushing. I hate where the world is. I hate the fact that we don't fight for our rights no more. We don't fight for, you know what I'm saying, our respect. We don't fight for what we're for something that we dedicate ourselves to. You know what I'm saying? Back then, people used to take pride in what they do, regardless of what another motherfucker might think. Okay, so what if that motherfucker might think rap is trash, rap is that's just nigger jigaboo music? Like, so what? I enjoy it. I like it. They took a stand, but see, nowadays all these rappers today, they just corporate sellouts. They wouldn't dare stand up for themselves. You don't see that. You would never see that shit no more. Everything is corporate now. The corporations involved. They in their back pockets. Like, you don't want to play games? Oh, okay. Delete their album sales. They don't get no more plays out here in these streets. That's a problem, man. Don't nobody want to stand up for themselves no more, man. This is back then when people stood up for themselves. They took pride in what they do. Now everything, the corporate, this is what I mean, man. I said this in the 6th generation console video. Once the corporations get involved, everything is done with. It's over. There's no pride. There's no dignity anymore because everybody concerned about the money. And I'm not saying don't get a bag, but at the same time, at least have some fucking pride. People don't got no fucking pride. People just want the bag, and they putting their hands in your pocket, saying, don't do that. Don't get involved. You get involved, we'll take that money.
in the meantime, enjoy these random fashion looks from the year. Many millennial superstars were born in 1989, including some big names like Daniel Radcliffe, Brie Larson, Taylor Swift, Quinta Brunson, Joe Jonas, Jason Derulo, PewDiePie, Rob Gronkowski, SZA, Elizabeth Olsen, Avicii, Tyga, BB Rexa, Daniela Monáe, Carlos Pena, Lily James, Dakota Johnson, Lucy Hale, Travis Kelce, Nina Dobrev, and Chris Brown, amongst many others. We also said,
damn, all these niggas old as shit. All these niggas old as shit, damn. All y'all was crack babies? Damn, that's sad.
goodbye to many legends this year, including Lee Van Cleef, Huey P. Newton, Rebecca Schaefer, Robert Weber, Keith Whitley, Sugar Ray Robinson, Betty Davis, Mel Blanc, Salvador Dali, and Lucille Ball, as well as many others.
I don't know any of them people. RP too, though. I don't know none of y'all niggas.
Want big, beautiful lashes that last? Use the mascara professional models demanded. CoverGirl Professional Mascara. The curved brush colors defines every lash. The professional formula lasts without smudging, without giving up. Keep your nose eyes, Carol. Professional Mascara.
1989 was a very stacked year full of some of the most memorable and iconic film releases to date. This year saw the release of many notable sequels, directorial debuts, and original franchises that were both critical and box office successes. A few actors who made their big screen debut this year included George Clooney, Jada Pinkett Smith, Jenna Malone, Marissa Tomei, and Jon Favreau, as well as many other names. Comedy, action, sci-fi, animation, thrillers, you name it. 1989 had so much variety for everyone, making this one of the greatest years for the film industry. Robin Williams starred in one of the hottest films this year, Dead Poets Society, a classic American coming-of-age drama. Dead Poets Society takes place in the year 1959 at the fictional elite boarding school.
This movie's sad as hell. Dead Poet Society is sad as hell. I sat through that shit. It was good though. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, say what you want. It might be a little slow. It might be a little boring, but it's sad as hell. It might be sad as hell, but it was pretty good. That was a pretty good watch. That was a pretty good watch the first time I watched it. Would I watch it again? Fuck no.
Welton Academy, and tells the story of an English teacher who inspires his students through his teaching of poetry, or his fun, unique style of teaching, I should say. The film was a commercial success and received critical acclaim. It grossed $235.9 million worldwide against a $16.4 million budget and became the 5th highest grossing film of the year. Side note, but is it just me, or was there a trend of films back then that followed the lives of teachers and the importance of education? Let me know down below in the comments if you feel that way.
Yeah, because they used to actually care about the kids, man. They used to care about the kids, man. Once it got to the 2000s, though, I want to say around like 2005, 2006, 2007, around that time frame. Fuck them kids. Once we went into another recession, fuck them kids. Everybody for themselves.
Many critics and fans say that this was Robin Williams' best role up until this point, and one of his best in his entire career. After his death in 2014, many reveal that they were inspired to become teachers because of his portrayal of Mr. Keating, which is honestly really amazing to hear when you think about it. This film also helped launch the careers of future stars Ethan Hawke, Robert Sean Leonard, and Josh Charles to the mainstream.
Each and every one of us in this room is one day going to stop breathing, turn cold, and die. I'd like you to step forward over here.
Throughout the 1980s, Rick Moranis quickly became one of the most in-demand and popular breakout actors in Hollywood. In 1989, he was in 2 of the hottest films that were major turning points in his career. Rick starred alongside Steve Martin and Tom Hulce in the family comedy Parenthood, as well as playing the iconic Wayne Szalinski in the first installment of the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids franchise to great success. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is a classic and was one of my favorite movies growing up, as I've just found it to be so fun, unique, and
absolutely. Motherfucking classic right here, bruh. Absolutely a motherfucking classic right here. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Oh, this shit was a banger, man. I fuck with this shit.
Nostalgic. Everything from the giant life-size sets to how some scenes were filmed really made this film one of the standouts from that year. It became the 7th highest.
Until Disney got greedy and started putting out unnecessary sequels. Like the second one was okay, but then they started putting out other ones like Honey, I Shrunk the Dog, Honey, I Shrunk the Wife, Honey, I Shrunk the Baby. Like, man, get the fuck out of here, man. This bullshit. It was good. The first two, the first one, the sequel, okay, cool. But the spin-offs and all the other ones, Disney, you was doing too much. Stop it. We had enough. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Grossing film of 1989, as well as the highest grossing live-action Disney movie up until that point, where it held the record for 5 years. In the film, Wayne Szalinski, a struggling inventor, accidentally shrinks his and his neighbor's children to the height of 1/4 inch. After being accidentally thrown out with the trash, the children must work together and venture their way back through a backyard wilderness filled with dangerous insects and man-made hazards. You just had to be there, as they really don't make Disney movies like this anymore, which, speaking of Disney, for over 50 years, the Walt Disney Animation Studios company had a chokehold on pop culture, creating some of the most groundbreaking, stylistic, innovative, and visually stunning animated films to ever exist, making them one of the biggest media franchises of the 20th century. As big as the Disney machine was at the time, they were struggling at the box office, so much so where the company almost went extinct 2 decades.
Yup. Around this time, Disney was ass. Disney was trying so hard. They started buying up, they started starting off little side. They started starting off with little side companies like Touchstone. Or y'all might have seen Touchstone. They probably be at the end of your favorite TV show or something like that. And then Blue Vista on there. That be at the end of your television shows too. Touchstone Pictures, all that stuff. They was doing all these little side things. I think they even had MGM. I think they even had like MGM for a hot minute, and then they let that go. Yeah, Disney was in a bad place, bro. Wasn't nobody fucking with Disney during the 80s. Nobody was fucking with Disney like that, bro. Disney was putting out straight ass, straight garbage. And then they bounced back with Little Mermaid, and then what was after that? It was Little Mermaid. Then I think Aladdin. Then after Aladdin, I forgot what the other ones was. Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Lion King, Mulan, and then obviously, you know, the other goats out there, you know, Toy Story, Bugs Life, you know, Goofy movie, you know, all those came about too. That the 90s is where they hit their renaissance, and they came back with straight heat. And then the 2000, I want to say that the 2000s going all the way to like 2008, they was solid up until 2008. Then after, I want to say after Toy Story 3, straight ass after Toy Story 3. After Toy Story 3, straight ass. Cars 2, and then all that other bullshit they started putting, garbage.
Decades after Walt Disney's death in 1966. That all changed with the release of The Little Mermaid in late 1989. The Little Mermaid is a classic and easily one of the greatest animated films ever made. It became a global phenomenon overnight and kickstarted what we all know as the legendary Disney Renaissance of the 1990s. The Little Mermaid tells the story of a mermaid princess named Ariel who dreams of becoming human and falls in love with a human prince named Eric, where she later forges an agreement with the sea witch Ursula to become human. The film gained widespread critical acclaim for its memorable characters, visually stunning animation, great use of storytelling, romance, adventure sequences, comedy, and music, making it one of the most memorable and unique blockbusters of 1989. It was also a commercial success, grossing $84 million at the domestic box office during its
I ain't gonna lie though, that witch used to have me in the chokehold. I ain't gonna hold you, but go back real quick. I ain't gonna hold you, bro.
unique blockbusters of 1989.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Them rolls right there, them rolls. You see that rolls, that ass? God dang. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, dog. I ain't gonna lie, bro. She used to have me in the chokehold for a minute. I was like, fuck Ariel. Fuck Ariel. Fuck the mermaid. I don't care about her. Give me her right here. I like them big. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know me. We don't discriminate over here.
You so freaky ass nigga. You so freaky ass nigga.
I ain't gonna hold you, gang. She had me in the chokehold for a minute. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I was like, damn. They making them like that in the movie. God damn, shot it. I'm just saying though.
Put your pussy lips on live, I'll give you $1,000.
Freak man, yeah, that's me. Eat the cat from the back, yeah, that's me. Left your bitch on the panties, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me, yeah, that's me. Freak man, yeah, that's me. Eat the cat from the back, yeah, that's me. Left your bitch on the panties, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me, yeah, that's me.
You some freaky ass nigga. Fuck you mean? Get your freaky ass on. You know you freaky. On my dead grandma, and you can see me about it. Don't come over here with this, that freaky ass, sick ass shit, your little freaky ass. Freaky bitch.
I'm just saying though.
It was also a commercial success, grossing $84 million at the domestic box office during its initial release and $235 million during its run worldwide, becoming the 6th highest grossing film of the year. Where it became the 6th highest grossing film of the year and the highest grossing animated film up until that point, fans around the world fell in love with the story as well as the characters, including Ariel, Sebastian, King Triton, Scuttle, Flounder, Prince Eric, and Ursula, who might be one of the best Disney villains ever created. And the soundtrack included songs like Part of Your World, Under the Sea, Poor Unfortunate Souls, and Kiss the Girl, which are arguably some of the most recognizable and iconic Disney songs to exist. It's safe to say that the most iconic film release of the year was none other than the live-action Tim Burton Batman. Based on the DC Comics character of the same name, Batman is a superhero film directed by Tim Burton and was the first installment of Warner Bros. Initial Batman film series.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I never liked the 90s, the 80s and 90s Batman. I never liked these at all. I think all of them is trash. It might be an opinion. You may want to throw tomatoes at me. I don't care.
Boo this man.
I think all these movies were ass. I don't care what any of y'all think, bro. That is my personal opinion, bro. I'm not saying that is facts. I'm just stating my own personal opinion. All them shits was ass. I hated every single one. I watched all of them. All of them was ass to me. I didn't like not one, bro. So y'all can go ahead and throw your tomatoes and boo me, but I don't care. Shits was ass, bro.
Boo this man.
That is blasphemous!
Film stars many big names, including Jack Nicholson as the Joker, Michael Keaton as Batman, and Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale. A variety of Hollywood A-listers were considered for the role of Batman, including Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, Charlie Sheen, Tom Selleck, Bill Murray, Harrison Ford, and Dennis Quaid, amongst many other big names. At the time of its initial release, Michael Keaton's casting got major attention because the general public only saw him in goofy comedic roles rather than more subdued and serious ones. And he proved all the haters wrong with this film.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the only reason I don't like these ones is because of fucking. I watched the Christian Bale ones. I watched the Christian Bale ones first. I watched those before I ever watched these. And the ones with Christian Bale, 10 times better than these. I like that Batman more than I like these. These too cartoony-ish for me. I don't like these. It fits the 90s aesthetic because superhero movies back then, around this time frame, the 90s and 80s aesthetic, because they were supposed to be like friendly, supposed to have kids enjoy them and stuff like that. But this wasn't it for me. Absolutely not.
As Batman became one of his most legendary and iconic roles, Batman was both a critical and financial success, earning over $400 million at the box office. Critics and audiences particularly praised Nicholson and Keaton's performances, Tim Burton's direction, the production design, and Danny Elfman's score. Fans of the franchise also felt as if Tim Burton's film focused more on the Joker rather than the Batman, which, to be honest, the villains are usually more interesting characters than the heroes of their story, but that's neither here nor there. They both honestly did really good in this film, so... What now? It was the 6th highest grossing film in history at the time of its release and became the most anticipated film release of 1989. This live-action adaptation of Batman received 3 sequels, spin-offs, an animated series, video games, and a ton of merchandise, where it left its mark as one of the greatest superhero films ever made. Other notable films released in 1989 included Do the Right Thing, Look Who's Talking, When Harry Met Sally, Lean on Me, Born on the 4th of July, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Lethal Weapon 2, Ghostbusters 2, Driving Miss Daisy, All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Abyss, Glory, Say Anything, Pet Sematary, Steel Magnolias, Harlem Nights, Back to the Future Part 2, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusader, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, as well as many others.
We're gonna press on, and we're gonna have the happy.
1989 was a very fun and memorable year for television. Many shows that were released this year would become some of the most popular and decade-defining shows, as they would go on to dominate the rest of the 1990s. This was the era when you would come home from school or work and stay up all night watching your favorite TV shows to then talk about them the next day. Kids these days will never know what it was like watching the same thing at the same time and waiting for your favorite show to come on. But I digress. 1989 saw a wide variety of genres take over the zeitgeist, including everything from talk shows to cartoons to sitcoms. You just had to be there, as there was just so much variety for everyone to enjoy, making this an era of television that will be remembered forever. In April of this year, Dragon Ball Z made its debut to great success. Dragon Ball Z is a Japanese anime television series produced by Toei Animation, and I know I probably butchered that pronunciation, but it's okay. Part of the Dragon Ball media franchise, it's the sequel to the 1986 Dragon Ball television series and adapts the latter 325 chapters of the original Dragon Ball manga series created by Akira Toriyama. The series aired in Japan on Fuji TV from April 1989 to January 1996 and was later dubbed for broadcast around 81 countries worldwide. Being a massive hit amongst critics and fans, Dragon Ball Z incorporated a mix of adventure, science fiction, fantasy comedy, and martial arts, making it the perfect show for the time, as there was
one of the best animes. This was my introduction. No, I'll take that back. This wasn't even my introduction to animes. I don't even know why I'm trying to cap like that. Don't cap like that, bro. Don't cap like that, bro. Don't cap like that, little bro. Don't cap like that, little bro. Don't cap. No, this wasn't my introduction. Sailor Moon was actually my introduction to animes, believe it or not. Sailor Moon, because I used to come on at like 6 o'clock in the morning on UPN. Wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting ready for school, because school started at 7:30. I don't know why they started school so fucking early back then. When I start school at 7:30, shit, I gotta wake up at 6 o'clock. Fuck school. But anyways, but nah, like Sailor Moon was definitely my introduction to anime. But this right here, nigga, this heat right here, nigga. Dragon Ball Z will forever be goated. Forever be goated, bro. Dragon Ball Z is forever goated, bro. This that one right here. This one of them ones right here, for real.
So many shows just like this. Dragon Ball Z continues the adventures of Son Goku in his adult life as he and his companions defend the Earth against villains including aliens Vegeta, Frieza, and many more big threats. The anime's popularity has also spawned various media and merchandise that has come to represent the majority of the material within the Dragon Ball franchise, including films, home video releases, soundtracks, trading cards, video games, and other merchandise. Dragon Ball Z remains a cultural icon through numerous adaptations and re-releases, including a remastered broadcast title Dragon Ball Z Kai. And to this day, fans of the franchise cosplay and recreate many of the characters at Comic-Con events, as well as Halloween costumes yearly. Other than in animation, 1989 was the year of the sitcom, as this year saw the release of many iconic sitcoms that would become household staples throughout the 90s decade. This was the era of the TGIF lineup that was really big at the time, before the popularization of other teen shows like Glee, Hannah Montana, That's So Raven, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Drake and Josh, Boy Meets World, Victorious, and iCarly. There was Saved by the Bell. In my opinion, Saved by the Bell is the quintessential teen sitcom and possibly one of the most influential from its time. Targeted at kids and teens, Saved by the Bell was broadcast in the United States on Saturday mornings, later as the flagship series in NBC's TNBC lineup. The show follows a group of high school friends and their principal at the fictional Bayside High School in Los Angeles, primarily focusing on lighthearted comedic situations. It occasionally
I sat through the first 2 seasons of this and I never finished it. I don't know. I'm really not as interested in this as I thought I would be. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some good episodes from this, but it ain't hitting like you think it would, though. It don't hit like you think it would. I still have to finish up this series, bro. I've only got through the first 2 seasons. I definitely need to tap in with this again. I think I watched this back in like 2018, like back when I first got my apartment, when I was living up north, when I got my first apartment up north. I was watching this heavily for some odd reason.
Touches on serious.
It was in like the $5 bin at Walmart and shit. I had to buy a whole bunch of fucking DVDs because I had no internet. Cause I had no internet for a while. You know what I'm saying? When you first get your own spot, you not gonna have everything together, bro. You not gonna have it all together, bro. The best thing you can do is just stack your bread. Get a little bit here, get a little bit here. You don't gotta have your house all spiffy or your apartment all spiffy and all together when you get your place for the first time. Nah, bro, start off slow, man. You don't gotta have everything together, man. Shit, take your time, bro. That's your problem. Y'all too focused on them hoes, man. When you get your place, start off slow, man. Get you a chair. Get you a little table, you know what I'm saying? The Goodwill is always the place to go. Me personally, I go to the Goodwill. I wouldn't buy no couch from there, but a chair, table, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. I definitely buy something like that from the Goodwill. I started off slow, bro. Started buying little tables here and there, then start buying little cabinets. Then I started looking into appliances like radios and stereos and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Spend a little bit here and there, man, on the crib, man. Make it look a little decent, man. Add a little bit more to the crib, man. Make it look a little more spiffy. But other than that, though, I ain't never. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I knew I wasn't gonna have internet, but shit, I started buying them DVDs, bro. Started buying them DVDs, had my little PlayStation 2, shit, pop them in the PlayStation 2, bro. I used to be watching hella, I still got it too. It's somewhere in one of the boxes in the back. I still haven't unloaded all the boxes since I moved out the house, but they somewhere. I got a stack of DVDs somewhere in a box. I've never opened them up since I moved from up north. They've been stuck in that box ever since.
Social issues such as substance abuse, puberty, driving under the influence, homelessness, peer pressure, women's rights, friendships, and environmental issues, as well as many other topics. Lasting for 4 seasons, the series starred Mark Paul Gosselaar as Zach Morris, Dustin Diamond as Samuel Screech, Lark Voorhees as Lisa Turtle, Dennis Haskins as Principal Belding, Tiffany Amber Thiessen as Kelly Kapowski, Elizabeth Berkley as Jessie Spano, and Mario Lopez as AC Slater. The show appealed to Gen Xers who were teenagers and young adults during this time period, where it perfectly encapsulated the bright, vibrant aesthetic of the 1980s and fun, carefree, youthful nature of the 1990s.
I will be your Yoda. And I will be your everything.
And I will be gone.
Jerry Seinfeld was an up-and-coming comedian during the 1980s before getting the opportunity of a lifetime of getting his own.
Yeah, you can mess me with Seinfeld, bro. We could skip past Seinfeld, bro. We could skip past this. I don't care about Seinfeld, bro. I don't see the significance in it. If it's for you, then it's for you. It's not for me, bro. I don't see what y'all see as Seinfeld. It's literally a show about nothing, bro. I don't get it.
Castle, America's Funniest Home Videos, McGee and Me, Family Matters, and The Simpsons, amongst many others.
Hi, interested in the Toyota Celica? It's beautiful, and it's an excellent value. And right now, the Celica GTS is available with a special extra value package of features.
I ain't gonna lie, them Toyotas back in like the 80s and like early 90s, them Toyotas back in the day, them shits was clean, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. The ones with the pop-out headlights, oh my God, them shits was clean, bro.
like air conditioning, AM FM radio with cassette, and much more. At savings of up to $1,050, it's a great value.
Damn.
So you like it?
I love it.
Toyota's special option package makes the Celica a great buy.
Boy, if I went back to the 80s with the money I got now, nigga, I'd be a millionaire. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. If I went back to the 80s with the paychecks I'm getting right now, I'd be a millionaire, boy. I go in that bitch for $400, boy. I have all the groceries, I had all the hoes, I had all the brand new Jordans, all that shit, bro. I'll be out here thugging on y'all. I'll be studying y'all niggas like, yeah, y'all see me. Be all up in the white people neighborhoods, swerving through the lanes, bumping NWA, talking about some fuck the police, come straight from the underground.
1989 was a really fun and exciting year for pop music, as there was just so many iconic and major releases that defined the decade and had us all in a chokehold all year. I feel like 1989 is one of the most forgotten and overlooked years in music when people mention the 1980s as a whole, which is crazy to me because this year was truly an iconic time for music listeners.
Bro, this shit was fire, bro. 89 was fire. We went over this in, last year when we went through the decades to see which decade was the best. I still need to do a live stream for that too. You know what? I just found out that Mbufu, whatever the fuck the website where we used to do the tournaments. We used to have the tournaments. We did the porn stars and the black queens. We did the porn stars and the black queens tournaments to see who was the best. And yeah, apparently that site is back up now. It got shut down, but it's back up now. I didn't know until recently. So yeah, apparently it's back up now. So I definitely need to make a tournament to decide which decade was the best for sure.
But I digress. Maybe this year gets overlooked because there were more exciting and groundbreaking releases earlier in the decade, and people probably just see this year as an extension of the 90s. I don't know if that makes sense, but just dream with me here, people. This was a transitional year marked by the continued mainstream dominance of pop, hair metal, and new jack swing, while grunge, alternative rock, and hip-hop began their ascent in the cultural zeitgeist. After getting kicked out of the popular boy band New Edition due to his questionable behavior and antics, Bobby Brown went on to achieve massive success as a solo artist, where he dominated the late 80s as the next big thing in music. In the summer of 1988, Bobby Brown released his now iconic song.
Hey, Bobby was that nigga, bro. They said Bobby. Hey, I ain't say this. The hood told me this. People from around this time period told me this. They said Bobby Brown was bigger than Michael Jackson in the hood. In the hood, I ain't saying in the world, but in the hood, niggas was fucking with Bobby. They wasn't really messing with Michael like that. And this was before all the shenanigans and the media and all that bullshit with Michael started. So this is when Michael was still cutter clean. But back then, niggas was fucking with the hood was fucking with Bobby Brown heavy. And I understand why that Don't Be Cruel album. That Don't Be Cruel album, fire, straight fire. That's why I say it's a top 10 R&B album of all time. That shit straight heat, bro.
Sophomore album Don't Be Cruel to the Public, where it became one of the most recognizable albums of that time. For this project, he worked with hit-making songwriting and production duo Babyface and L.A. Reid, where they gave him his signature sound. Don't Be Cruel incorporates elements of various genres, including new jack swing, R&B, funk, dance, and soul. This album received extremely positive reviews from music critics and fans who considered it to be one of the standouts from that era. It was far more successful than his debut album, spending a total of 6 weeks on top of the Billboard 200, and later became the best-selling album of 1989 in the United States. All 5 singles from the album peaked within the top 10 on the Billboard charts during 1988 and 1989, with major hits including
Actually, what fell out his pocket? Nothing fell out of his pocket. That wasn't what y'all thought. Actually, what it was a piece of his watch that fell off because he was dancing too fucking hard, and a piece of his watch had fell off, and he put it back in his pocket. It wasn't drugs. People keep saying all it's drugs because Bobby was on that stuff. No, that was actually a piece of his watch. It was confirmed by the dancers and the production crew. It was confirmed. It was not drugs. It was a piece of his watch that fell off while he was dancing. He was dancing too hard and a piece of his watch fell off. Stop it. Stop it. I know the brother was messing with that shit back then, but he wasn't at that point in time. We got to give people some grace, man. We know people out here doing wrong, but sometimes you got to give them some grace, man. Stop the cap. Stop with the propaganda, bro.
including the title track, Don't Be Cruel, Rock With Ya, Ronnie, and Every Little Step, as well as many others. My Prerogative was the biggest single from this album, where it became Bobby's first #1 single on the Billboard Hot 100. My Prerogative was written by Bobby as a response to the criticism he received for his firing from New Edition. Lyrically, it's about taking control of your life and doing whatever you want regardless of how people feel or think. This song was just everywhere that year and is considered to be his signature hit. As of now, Don't Be Cruel has sold over 12 million copies worldwide and is regarded as one of the most influential R&B records ever, while solidifying his status as one of the kings of R&B. Before being one of the original judges on American Idol during the 2000s, Paula Abdul made a name for herself being one of the biggest pop stars of the 1980s. In 1988, newcomer Paula Abdul released her debut studio album, Forever Your Girl, to great success. The album was Paula's breakthrough into the music industry after being a choreographer for high-profile clients including the California Raisins, George Michael, ZZ Top, Duran Duran, and most notably Janet Jackson. At the time of its release, it was the most successful debut album and was the first time that a female artist scored 4 US Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles from her first album. Primarily a dance pop record, it featured elements of New Jack.
I don't think her career took off because I think that was her downfall. I think her downfall was the fact that she worked with Janet, and when she finally got into the spotlight, everybody was like, she just a Janet clone. Like, they was like, hey, that album was good, but she just a Janet clone. She ain't nothing special. I think that was her downfall, bro. She was working with the high profile people, and then when she finally broke out, everybody already seen the moves. Everybody already seen it before. It's like, bro, it's just you just a clone. Even though this was the originator, this the person who helped them find who helped them. Even though she the person that helped them, everybody's like, nah, you just a clone, chief. Damn, that's sad. That's sad.
Swing, as well as R&B. The album was eventually certified 7 times platinum in the US by the RIAA and has sold over 12 million copies worldwide. It also includes big hits like Straight Up, Forever Your Girl, Cold Hearted, and Opposites Attract, making it one of the albums that has one of the most #1 singles. Paula Abdul was everywhere in 1989 and was the newest it girl of pop music. In 1987, rock band Guns N' Roses released their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, to international success. This was one of those albums that had massive longevity and staying power for many years after its release, where they were just inescapable as the songs and videos were in heavy rotation during the late 80s. You just had to be there. Guns N' Roses made a hard rock, heavy metal, and glam rock classic that is widely considered to be one of the best rock albums ever made. Appetite for Destruction became a commercial success after the band had toured and received significant airplay with the singles Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, and Sweet Child of Mine, as well as many others. The album went on to peak at #1 on the US Billboard 200, and it became the 7th best-selling album of all time in the United States, as well as the best-selling debut album in the country. With over 30 million copies sold, it's considered one of the best-selling albums of all time worldwide. Upon initial release, this album was actually not well received by contemporary American critics, where many complained that its massive success with consumers was fostered by the taboo of sex, substance abuse, and rock and roll during the 1980s, when much of the cultural atmosphere in the United States became informed by the Reagan-Bush administration, the AIDS crisis, and the popularity of MTV. Although critics were originally ambivalent towards the album, Appetite for Destruction has received retrospective acclaim and has been viewed as one of the greatest albums of all time. It's also one of the quintessential albums of the 1980s decade. American boy band New Kids on the Block released their highly anticipated sophomore album, Hangin' Tough, in 1988 to great success.
Man, get these motherfuckers up out of here. Y'all know this just the gentrified version of New Edition, right? Y'all do know this, right? Y'all know this is just a gentrified version of New Edition. That's what they do. They build up a black group first to see how it works, and then they take from that group and they say, nah, we gonna make our own. And they gonna make more millions, and then we gonna promote them even more than the other group. Them other guys, they getting older, man. They're not kids anymore. They can't sell like they used to. Nigga, Bobby Brown was doing numbers. Ralph Tresvant was doing numbers. The very next year, Bill Biv DeVoe, them niggas went crazy with Poison. New Kids on the Block, haven't heard of them since. Fuck out of here. They with this gentrified ass version of the fucking New Edition. How dare you? How dare you?
Fun fact, but the boys almost got dropped from their label after disappointing sales from their debut album released back in 1986. Hangin' Tough is widely regarded as the group's breakthrough album, gaining positive reviews for their musical transition from bubblegum pop to urban contemporary, blended with popular rock music. The album led the group to success due to the emergence of their music to radio airplay and creation of music videos for each released single, showcasing the group's visual appeal. The popularity was eventually built as they made TV appearances and embarked on promotional tours. By the end of 1989, the album topped the US Billboard 200 charts, and they became the ultimate pop boy group during that time. This album spawned multiple Billboard hits, including Please Don't Go Girl, You Got It, The Right Stuff, I'll Be Loving You Forever, Hangin' Tough, and Cover Girl. All were top 10 hits on the Billboard charts, making New Kids on the Block the first teen act to gain such chart success at the time. With sales of more than 15 million copies worldwide, Hangin' Tough became the group's best-selling album and second best-selling album of 1989 in the US, right behind Bobby Brown's Don't Be Cruel. Other popular albums released in 1989 were De La Soul's debut, 3 Feet High and Rising, Phil Collins' But Seriously, Richard Marx's Repeat Offender, Bonnie Raitt's Nick of Time, the Batman soundtrack, the Little Mermaid soundtrack, Don Henley's The End of Innocence, The Cure's Disintegration, Neil Young's Freedom, Babyface's Tender Lover, Pixies' Doolittle, Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever, Nirvana's debut album Bleach, the B-52's Cosmic Thing, and Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814, as well as many others. Without a doubt, the biggest artist of 1989 was the queen of controversy herself, Madonna. On March 29th, 1989, Madonna released her fourth studio album, Like a Prayer, where it became one of the most popular and highly anticipated album releases of the year. This album was a massive success and turning point in her career, where she was taken more serious as an artist rather than just being seen as a pop star with a few dance hits. Like a Prayer became her most introspective body of work up until that point, and is one of her most notable albums. In true Madonna fashion, it's a pop record with elements of rock and dance pop. Its lyrics deal with personal themes she had been too afraid to approach on previous albums, including her Catholic upbringing, her troubled marriage to actor Sean Penn, the death of her mother, and her relationship with her father. Upon its release, Like a Prayer received universal acclaim from music critics, who praised its introspective tone, cohesiveness, and Madonna's increased artistic merit. It was also an international success, reaching the top of the charts in 20 countries, and was certified quadruple platinum in the United States by the Recording Industry Association of America. The album featured many hits that performed really well on the charts. Express Yourself and Cherish both peaked at the number 2 spot and were some of the hottest songs of the year, while the title track Like a Prayer became the album's biggest hit, which, speaking of, Like a Prayer was the album's lead single, being co-written and produced by Madonna after feeling like she needed to cater to a more adult audience. Like a Prayer is a pop, rock, dance pop, and gospel song that also incorporates elements of funk and new wave. It features background vocals from a choir and also a rock guitar, with many sexual innuendos, of course. It was acclaimed by music critics upon release and was a global commercial success, becoming Madonna's 7th #1 hit on the US Billboard Hot 100, topping the Hot 100 for 3 consecutive weeks, and also topping the charts in many other.
But when the sisters talk about that nasty stuff, when the sisters want to talk nasty and they want to get all freaky with it, they get criticized. But when Madonna do it, oh, she's loved, she's praised, oh, she's a genius. Oh, see how they treat us, man. See how this works, man. See how this shit work, man. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion drop WAP. They hate it for that shit. They hate it for it. Madonna do some shit. Was doing shit before this, and they just praise. Man, that's bullshit, dog. That's a bullshit, man. You see how they treat us, man? It's too vulgar. Oh, it's too sexual. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. It's like, I get it. I get where you coming from, but it's like, y'all wasn't saying this shit for Madonna though. Nah, bro. We gotta have double standards, bro. It's gotta be a double standard, bro. Can't just do that for everybody. How long is this Madonna? How long is this Madonna glaze gonna go on? Because I'm not trying to hear this bullshit all fucking day. I'm really not trying to hear Madonna glaze. I don't listen to her music, so I don't really care like that, bro. I don't really listen to her music like that, so I don't really care.
Included If I Could Turn Back Time from Cher, Wild Thing from Tone Loc, Every Rose Has Its Thorn from Poison, Wind Beneath My Wings from Bette Midler, She Drives Me Crazy from the Fine Young Cannibals, Giving You the Best That I Got from Anita Baker, Love Shack from the B-52s, Listen to Your Heart from Roxette, Right Here Waiting from Richard Marx, Miss You Much from Janet Jackson, Girl You Know It's True from Milli Vanilli, Two Hearts from Phil Collins, Look Away from Chicago, and Smooth Criminal from Michael Jackson, amongst many other hits. 1989 was a pretty memorable and fun year from start to finish, with some really big moments, making it one of the greatest years for pop culture. Other major things that happened this year included Queen Elizabeth II being the wealthiest person in the UK, Lexus being introduced to the US market, the first Reebok pump shoes being launched into the mainstream, McDonald's attempt at making pizza, the popularization of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures, the launch of Polly Pockets, and the opening of Walt Disney World's MGM Studios, now called Hollywood Studios, amongst many other things. So yeah, that was 1989, a pretty fun and nostalgic year from start to finish. And I feel like this year ended the 1980s decade with a bang, as this year really set the tone for what was to come in the 1990s. Like I said earlier, I feel like 1989 was a pretty overlooked year when discussing the 1980s decade, but I think that's simply because the rest of the decade was just stacked with so many major moments that happened, where by the end of the decade it was just like light work for the 80s, you know? So anyways, I want to know from you guys, what were your favorite movies of the year? Do you remember watching any of these films in theaters? Were you a fan of Seinfeld or The Simpsons or Saved by the Bell? Do you remember all of the controversy with Madonna? Did you have Guns N' Roses album? Were you a fan of Bobby Brown or Paula Abdul or New Kids on the Block? Do you remember watching any of these music videos on TV? Did you watch the VMAs this year? Did you watch the Grammys this year? What did you think of Michael Jordan's iconic shot? What did you think of The Little Mermaid? And what did you think of the year 1989 as a whole? Let me know down below.
I wasn't born yet, so I wouldn't know what to tell you. I wasn't born yet. I was not born at this time. My brother was not born at this time. I'm a 94 baby. So shit, it is what it is. But anyways, I'm just gonna about do it for this one, man. Most definitely, man. 89 seemed like it was a solid year. Was it the best? I can't really tell. We would have to go through the entire 80s to figure that out. Like I said, this is before my time. Anything before my time, I don't know anything about. If it ain't from, I want to say 96 and upward, I don't know shit about it. For real. Mostly the 2000s. I know about the 2000s for sure. The 2000s, that's my shit. I'm trying to think, what years has he not tackled in the 2000s yet? I don't think he tackled 07. He definitely didn't tackle 08. He did 09. He didn't do 06. 03 is still out there. yeah, he still got a couple years left, but we'll have to see, man. Anyways, though, that's just going to about do it for this one, man. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, there's this.